really hard to tell where we're supposed to go when the map shows us doors that can't be opened due to them freezing over. I kinda wish there was an in-game explanation for why some doors are still perfectly fine and others are frozen over. Especially since some of those doors are literally in the same room, and close enough that you can see both of them on screen at the same time. I know, not actually all that important, but it was one of the first things that struck me at the start of this clip. The other was the reiterated fact that there doesn't really sound like a lot of music in this game that really grabs me. Sure, it's all very atmospheric, but for the most part it's atmospheric in a way that I forget about the music and only remember the tension and maybe some bits and pieces about the environment if I happen to hear it again later. So, even in a part of the sector that outright has lava, we still have plenty of ice to go around. If it wasn't for the fact that we've already caught the ice missile, I'd swear that might be what we're gonna get when we kill the next major boss. Well, I'm certainly taking more hits than I thought I would here, but at least it doesn't feel all that dangerous at the moment. Okay, so the only thing we can use in here at the moment is the elevator. For some reason, I was expecting more fighting to do in that first area, not the second. Right, apparently Cateris is also suffering from an icing problem right now. I wonder if the game designers let the other sectors get iced up, or did they just prevent us from getting to those other areas during this part of the game? Definitely nice to know that robots that used to give us some trouble earlier on are so simple to destroy this late in the game. I can't help wishing there were more little moments to highlight how much more capable we are than we were from the start, but Right, should have figured that wasn't quite far enough away to avoid getting hurt by that damn thing. Well, that door certainly looks like it's gonna be important. Anyone else's boss warning signals going off right now? Definitely a bad sign that some pillars are broken in here. And is that some kind of organic material or just oddly shaped rocks that happen to be at those pillars and on the machinery in the background? Yeah, definitely organic. And here's the Guardian for that growth around the thermal systems. That's right, Sam is back. back up to the spot where we'll actually fight the damn thing from. Yeah, scary mouth to go with a scary scream. Now let's see how you fight, big guy. Okay, so I can't just jump over his head, and it seems that missiles are the way to go. The plasma beam doesn't seem to do anything. Not really a surprise, especially remembering the tentacle thing underwater. And to my lack of surprise, it looks like we're gonna die in this first attempt. Again, I really wish the game would give these bosses a health bar so I could at least say how close we might have come to killing the bastard in our first attempt. Were we nowhere close? Were we very close? I don't know. Right, time to start cutting footage of the various failed attempts I bothered to record. And of course there were probably a hell of a lot more attempts that I just deleted after recording due to being at this roadblock for a while. Kind of annoying that he's only vulnerable when his head is within a certain position, since I can't fully tell when they're at the right depth for us to shoot. Still, so long as I avoid getting hit by the big guy and keep sending the hits, we should be good. Not a perfect zip to the little safe zone on the ground, but better to take a little acid damage than to just take the laser to the face. Thanks for the fresh ammo and health! Not too sure why the big guy ran in a circle like that. It's not like he was trying to bug us off, but to be fair, it's not like I've ever had some small creature shooting ice missiles into my face that rapidly. Well, that hot attack didn't last long. Not the smoothest way to handle that attack, but we've got a good amount of health left, so we can take it. And now for another counter-based beatdown on the big guy. Sure, it's the exact same animation as last time, but it's still pretty satisfying. Though if it happens for a third time, I'm gonna wonder just how stupid this damn bastard is. Misjudged when it would stop shooting. Just how many more missiles can this bastard take? This battle is certainly a long one, that's for damn sure. And the longer it goes, the more mistakes I'm probably gonna make. And I don't have all that much room left to screw up at this point of the fight. guy is officially a moron for trying the same thing 3 times, only for it to fail all 3 times and just make things easier for us. Well, he's stopped bothering to hold on to the terrain with his arms now. You're kidding! A 4th time! This is just sad for the big guy to get killed, considering he gave me a lot of trouble before this attempt. But then, I suppose that's part of the point. We get more skilled against our enemies until a dangerous foe looks relatively simple to bring down. Well, even in death, this one is putting up a solid enough fight. Huh. Wonder why the big guy didn't shift to his X form before he ended up falling into the lava. So defeating the monster just magically makes the growth around the thermal reactor disappear? Here, I thought we'd have to find a switch or something after dealing with that monster to clear things up. Who knows, I might actually be able to finish this Let's Play before making it to part 25 here. Certainly didn't take long for the ice and snow to disappear again. I know why that's the case from a gameplay standpoint, but it's still a bit jarring. May as well save before going anywhere right now, if only so I don't have to risk going through that fight again. I'd rather not have to go through it if something goes wrong. Sure, I made him look like an idiot in that last round, but I'd rather not test my luck on a rematch. Especially when we're getting closer and closer to the end of this whole damn game as a whole. Not that the story as we've been seeing it has shown how far from the end we are, or given any real hints. I'm just judging based on how many clips of raw footage I haven't gone through yet, and how much time that accounts for before editing. It's not like I know how much fast-forwarding or cutting I'm gonna do ahead of time. Hell, sometimes I don't even know how many raw bits of footage I'm gonna have in a given clip until I'm done with it. Wait, what? Really? I only just rebooted the system for an update. Now it wants me to do so again? I swear, whoever came up with the concept of installing updates to a game online just because modern systems are all connected to the internet doesn't understand how that sort of thing can interrupt the flow. Granted, I could keep playing regardless of that notification. But the fact that the notification showed up while I'm playing, even though I did everything I could to turn notifications off. Have I mentioned that I'm a bit of an old-fashioned bastard when it comes to gaming? Well, that's still sending us to the first sector, but maybe that's closer to where we need to be than the elevator. Hard to tell before we get there. Great! The sound for us teleporting there made me head to the bathroom for a bit. I suppose if you're doing a quick bathroom run, it may as well be when there's a loading screen. And again, I feel like there are a lot more loading screens in this game than any of the other 2D Metroids. Despite the fact that I actually hit load a lot less often. Right, Screw Attack is in our hands. That will most definitely open things up by quite a bit. Of course, the question then becomes, will I bother to find everything that the Screw Attack lets us get to now? Or will I just move on to the next major objective as quickly as possible? At the very least, we still have the purple robot to deal with, and I'm not entirely sure that is the absolute last robot in the game for us to handle. Though there aren't too many more upgrades for us to get this far in. At the very least, with the Screw Attack, we now have all the series mainstays. Right, back to the water sector for now then. At the very least, we're gonna have a good supply of energy tanks and missiles when we finally get to the final fight.
Well done, Samus. You have stopped the planet from cooling. In addition, you have gained the Screw Attack ability. It will help you access previously unreachable places. You are far more combat ready than when you first arrived, but you are still not prepared to face Ravenbeak. There is a very low probability of success in standing against him now.
Part of me wants to be a little annoyed that Adam has so little confidence in us, despite everything we've done in both this game and Fusion. The other figures that, yeah, the final boss kind of needs as much going for him as possible to help make the final encounter especially cathartic. And constantly being told he should be out of our league is one way to do that. Considering the quality of the fights we've seen in this game, I do not think that is much of an exaggeration. Still, we managed to get this far. Anyway, excuse me while I get into another 2-on-1 against Commandos. Expect it to be pretty similar to our first fight against two of these bastards at once. Only our armor is a little better now. It's funny how whenever I can get away with it, I prefer to take our enemies down with the most basic beam as possible instead of using missiles. It's not quite as funny that a single type of melee attack still gives me trouble from these guys, even though we've taken out a good number of commandos at this point. Or the fact that all too much of our damage feels like it's because I just walked into the pain rather than because it was the enemy's fault. Really getting the sense I'm gonna need a rematch against these guys. Okay then, actually managed to take one of them down. Always nice to overestimate your enemies instead of yourself, but again, This game does quite the job of making it tough for me to judge just how good I actually am at it. Didn't think one of those things could keep a shot charged for while moving around like that. Another teleporter. Again, we bounce around so much that it's kind of hard to stay oriented, but I suppose we're heading for the teleporter near the purple robot. I suppose that means something good, and by good, I mean that robot not being a factor soon enough, but I suppose that's gonna have to wait for the next clip. I'd say I've squeezed as much footage as I can into this clip for now, or at least my throat says so. Well, at least it didn't take us long to find an unexplored part of the sector after going through the teleporter. Yeah, this feels like as good a stopping point as any for the moment.